This video is brought to you by my channel members. Huge thank you to Marissa, Sanji, and Anita. Hello everyone, it's Fairiekin. It's been a long time since I last uploaded. I've been trying my best to take care of this rough patch I've been having with my mental health, and I got a new full-time job, so I've been busy. And you can tell that my brain has been otherwise occupied because there's lots of stuff that I forgot to film. So sorry in advance, but there's nothing I can do about it now. So, what's the concept for this doll? Anxiety. Specifically health anxiety. This is something that I've struggled with my entire life. I'll be very vulnerable in this video, so if that's not your jam, feel free to skip on out. There's a few times where my health anxiety has been debilitating, and this last summer has been rough with that struggle, I'll be honest. I had to start a project to take my mind off things and put that energy into something productive, so I'm turning my struggle with health anxiety into art. I will be using my specific triggers and fears as inspiration, so you'll see where those influences come in. I will keep the descriptions of those things vague though, because I don't want to trigger anyone else that might experience the same thing, because I know how easy that is. To anyone else going through this, you're not alone. I believe you that you're struggling. I'm so sorry. Feeling like this doesn't mean that you're broken or too dramatic. Let yourself breathe and try to understand your body instead of resisting it. Trust your body that it will show you what it needs instead of resisting all of the sensations in your body all the time. Anyway, let's get started on the doll. I started out with a Twyla doll. I've always wanted to work with her, and I thought her face would be perfect for this. I already went ahead and removed her paint and her hair, and I started right out the gate with her face up. I already gave her 2 coats of MSC spray sealant in preparation and got to work. I start with blushing. I'm using a darker tone of purple to make the proportions of her face look more sunken in and exhausted. I'm making the lips a dark raspberry color, and I'm trying to make them look chapped and irritated. I have a tendency to pick at my skin when I'm nervous, so that's where this comes from. I start marking out the proportions of her eyes with a normal graphite pencil, and then I mark in the eyelids and the beginning of her iris. I try to make her eyebrows blonde at first, but it looked weird with her skin tone. I'm honestly not sure what I was thinking with this because her hair is not going to be blonde, so I don't know. So I used black instead. Like usual, before I come in with the colors of the eyes, I give a layer or 2 of white because that helps everything become opaque. I go in with pastels to contour a worried expression. I feel like I don't have to explain why for that one. I go in with a black pencil for the eyelashes. I find that quick, light strokes help the eyelashes look fluffy, but also sometimes I end up with some over fluffy lashes that need to be erased. I've learned that when I'm in an anxious state, I have this intense feeling of vertigo for seemingly no reason. This could be due to other things too, but I also know that it is linked to anxiety sometimes. It's like I'm dizzy or about to fall over constantly, so I add swirls into her face-up to represent that. I also put them in her eyes because I thought that that would be really effective. From here, her face-up is more or less done. I just have to add highlights and shadows and a few extra random details. Like I think I added freckles too. A lot of the time I get random bits of dust stuck in the face-up that I can't pick out, so I'll just make it look on purpose with freckles. That happens more often than I would like to admit. Anyway, now for the hair. I left her head with the factory paint just because I'm more or less using the same colors that her hair already was. I already made some curly wefts with yarn off camera. I glue them on with PVA glue. I secure them around the edges of the hairline first, then go in a spiral and cover all of the ground over the head. I leave a small section open to make the part. Glue wefts going the wrong way, then flip them around to make a clean edge. I actually recommend making the part first. I think that would help getting all of the edges flat. I'm not the best at that, but I think if you started with the outside layer first, but like completely with the part and the hairline, I think that would make it easier. But I'm not the best at hair. Then I style it how I think I want it to look for now. After that, I gloss her eyes and lips with UV resin. I added tears too as well because this is really sad, but I feel like I haven't stopped crying over one thing or another since June. I should probably drink more water and move on to her outfit. My first idea I didn't stick with, but I'll go into detail about how I made the patterns just because people ask me how I do that a lot. I take the doll with the proportions that I need to work off of and trace her onto a scrap piece of paper. I usually use packing paper that companies use for shipping just because 1, it's free, and 2, it helps eliminate waste. From here, I have the room drawn out that I need for her body, but not the shape of the actual garment. What I'm making is going to be baggy on her, so I know that I need to make it oversized. I cut out an estimate of what I think the sleeves need to be, but I also intend on having a hood, so I traced out her head too. Then I tried all of the pieces out on the doll, and this helped me realize that not everything meets up the way that I need on the doll. So I have to make it a little bit bigger. I make a second pass, and this looks much better to me. This is never an exact science, it's a lot of trial and error for making patterns, but it's the best thing that I know how to do. I used this sparkly black fabric to make a cute little jumper, and it turned out great, other than the hood wasn't big enough to function like I wanted. Looking at it, it's really boring and not symbolic enough. The reason that I did this was because I have a tendency, or I used to anyway, I used to have a tendency to kind of hide behind anything that I could when I was anxious, and a lot of that included baggy clothing. I think that was something that I did at middle school. I hid behind my glasses and my hair a lot, but also it's boring. I have standards and this doesn't meet them. I also made some pretty cool shoes, but I didn't like them either. I repainted the shoes like 6 different times, and then changed the shoes, and then painted those at least 3 times. Anyway, you'll see the finished product in the end. Change of plans with the outfit. I was looking for inspiration kind of everywhere because I had no ideas and I wasn't sure what to represent. But then Emily Artful posted a video called Emily Artful Speaks the Truth. And I was watching it and I was like, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Part of my symptom fear has to do with my ribcage currently. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Instead of peaches, I'm going to do random plant life. But before I get into this, I have a confession. I've been streaming a little bit every now and then here on YouTube, and I recently got a full-time job, so the streams will be few and far between from now on. But I streamed me making this, and I thought I could have sworn I was saving the footage, but I don't have any of it. So if you want to watch me sculpt the ribcage in real time and rant about something, probably, you can. I'll leave it in the description. But a couple things about the ribcage. It's obviously not anatomically correct because there's only like 8 ribs on each side. It's really hard to put something onto something else and have it be anatomically correct when your base product is not anatomically correct. You know what I mean? So I just did my best with the shapes. I painted all of the bone structure parts off-white, and then I did the flowers and leaves and mushrooms. There's no real rhyme or reason to the actual plant life that I chose. I just kind of did what I was able to do in miniature, because it's really small. And I make sure to add shadows to everything to add dimension. Then I go ahead and make some shorts. This idea was given to me by my friend Serenadol. Go ahead and check her out. These are called corset shorts. She and I have been friends for a long time, and she helped me out with this concept a bunch. So I cut out the pattern pieces, I used some ruched fabric to put them all together, and then I add the ribbons and bows, and they're all finished. I used the cross-stitch pattern to sew the laces on. I wasn't quite sure how else to do it because I couldn't create little loops to go off of like a real corset would, but this worked out pretty well. Then, I forgot to film this part, but I made a little tiny leather jacket with ribbons on the sleeves as well. And then I also, again, repainted the pair of shoes to match her shorts. Much, much happier with these. And now she's done. Even though I'm still not doing super hot, things are changing for me and I am getting better. I really like how she turned out. I decided to name her Fawn Fledge. Fawn because that's my go-to trauma response, and Fledge because I thought it sounded cool. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'll be straight up with you and saying I need to take a break from YouTube for a bit. I don't know how long I'm going to be gone, and I'm not particularly worried about it. In this time, I need to get over some things. And I'm also completely reorganizing my workspace soon. I won't be able to film at all while that's going on. Otherwise, I might keep working, if I'm honest. Everything will be brand new when I come back, and I have some new projects coming up that aren't doll related, but you'll see that later. I love you all very much, very dearly. I'll be back when I feel like me again, and you do the same for yourselves. I truly love you all so much. Thank you all for sticking by me. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. Feel free to join my Discord. I'll be online there, and I'll be up on my Twitter and Instagram too. I will also probably update on my community tab every now and then as well, and I might make little shorts, actually. I could do that! I could do shorts. While I'm out, I will be making YouTube shorts for you guys. I figured it out. That's how I can keep it up. Okay, anyway. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you all dearly. Anyway, I love you all so much. I will see you very soon, I promise. Goodbye.